There are 5 things that everyone should do in Disney World, no matter what. And we're going to reveal those today here on DFB Guide. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. So it's not often we make a video about the things we believe are 100% the best fit for everyone. So consider today's video to be quite the gem of our DFB YouTube inventory. No matter how big your travel group is, how polarizing everyone's tastes are, and how different you feel your vacation preferences are from someone else's, the DFB team and I have come up with 5 absolutes for a Disney World vacation that everyone should do if they're wanting to have a good, successful, memorable trip. All right, our number one thing you always need to do in Disney World is check for those changes. Back when Walt Disney was still around, he would talk about how Disneyland, the only Disney park that was ever open during his lifetime, wasn't a museum where things were never allowed to change, but was instead more of a living experience where things could morph and adapt alongside an ever-evolving world to keep things fresh and relevant for vacationing families today. Disney World is constantly changing. The restaurant menus change, the virtual queue offerings change, the lightning lanes change, the prices for things change, the Epcot Festival booths change, and new attractions like shows, rides, restaurants, etc. open their doors while others shut down permanently. And that's why we do what we do here at Disney Food Blog, because we don't want you to head out to vacation and suddenly be caught off guard by some new rule change that prevents you from going on a brand new ride, or a sudden menu switch up that takes away a snack you were really looking forward to trying, or even a new free hotel promotion that you missed out on because you didn't know it was going to be available during your visit. Now, let me just show you a few recent changes and announcements that just occurred on the Disney World scene so you can see what I mean. Out of the blue, Disney announced that they'll be temporarily closing Spaceship Earth for refurbishment beginning on August 25th. At this time, there's no specific reopening date, but we know it's expected to reopen later in the year. We just don't know when. We're going to miss it in the meantime, a lot. Guess the new GO82 Spaceship Earth themed lounge will have to tide us over for now. But when one ride closes, another opens, apparently, because Test Track 3.0 is slated to reopen on July 22nd, 2025. Our team's been lucky enough to try out this new version of Test Track during cast member previews, and our initial thoughts are pretty positive for the most part. It feels like a nice modern upgrade from the previous iteration of the ride. Though some folks who knew Test Track back when it had crash test dummies might still find themselves missing that particular version from way back when, because that's really what the ride was created for in the first place. For those who love their custom Disney souvenirs, especially inside Magic Kingdom, Frontierland recently reopened a store that we assumed they'd completely forgotten about. Turns out they hadn't. Go figure. And Prairie Outpost is once again open. But instead of this being a candy shop like it used to be back in the day, Prairie Outpost is now a custom hat shop that sells a variety of chapel hats and accessories to add a little extra touch of Disney to each piece. If you want one of these fancy hats and you want to customize it completely, but you don't want to carry it around the park or wear it, you can always make your purchase and then pick it up at the store later in the day. Disney just asks that you pick up your purchase at least 30 minutes prior to park closing. And let's go ahead and pay tribute to our fallen snack comrades that we've lost just recently. This includes the Toffee and Coconut Blondie from Catalina Eddie's in Hollywood Studios, the Pepperoni Pizza Roll from Sunshine Seasons at Epcot, those massive pretzels that you used to be able to grab from El Mercado de Coronado in Coronado Springs, and the Ham and Gruyere Tart from Gaston's Tavern in Magic Kingdom, though that morphed into a just as tasty ham and Gruyere sandwich, so the hurt wasn't as strong with that one. Fare thee well, Disney snacks. Perhaps someday we'll meet again. So if you want to stay informed daily about this stuff leading up to your trip, because yes, Disney World does have the tendency to change that frequently, be sure to sign up for our free DFB newsletter, and we're going to send you the latest Disney announcements. That ranges from the good to the bad to the shocking and surprising. I'll add the newsletter link down in the description for you, but don't worry, we never hold you prisoner here, so after your Disney trip, you can always unsubscribe and it won't hurt our feelings. Unless, you want to stay part of the DFB tribe forever and ever, amen, and we'll happily keep you around if you want to stay, regardless of when your next Disney World trip is. Next thing you should always do in Disney World is conquer a fear. So you'd think in a place like Disney World, where there are castles and princesses and rides like Dumbo the Elephant, you wouldn't really have a whole lot of opportunities to conquer a fear or even step outside your comfort zone for just a bit. But there are actually a whole lot more opportunities to do exactly that and leave your vacation not with just a whole lot more memories to look back on, but with a new sense of pride as well. So in my new Disney Adults book, I talk a lot about how Disney stimulates all the senses. When you're surrounded by music and smells and sights that drop you into whole new worlds, there's this shot of adrenaline and this dopamine that impacts you so strongly. Many people of all ages will do things they didn't think they could do before. It's the same sort of thing when you go travel somewhere brand new and decide to go diving with sharks or zipline over mountains. Maybe when you were back home in your comfy clothes, the people out there and doing those things seemed a bit off their rockers, but when you step into their shoes and the adrenaline kicks in, you'd be amazed at the things you can accomplish just by thinking, well, when am I ever going to get the chance to do this again? But here's the best part about doing something that kind of scares you in a place like Disney World. You are in a safe and supportive environment that's going to make sure you're never pressured into doing something that's going to push you too far. So, what are some of the things you can try in Disney World that'll make you look back on your trip and go, I can't believe I did that? Well, let's start with roller coasters. When I was growing up, I had a major fear of roller coasters, but not really the roller coaster part. It was more that build up to the ride itself. My head knew that once I was on and speeding along the track, I'd have a blast, but my heart would be pounding so hard while I was standing in that line that I felt like I was going to pass out. Disney World really helped me conquer that fear, because not only are the coasters across the parks more family friendly, so you don't have to worry about boarding something way too intense for your liking, but a lot of those coaster queues are also highly themed to take your mind off things. Those queues, as well as the lighthearted area music, helped ground me when I was a kid, and later on in life I found myself really loving the coaster scene, even the more intense ones across other non-Disney parks. This is also a great opportunity for kids to experience their first ever roller coaster. Not only are several Disney coasters made for smaller kiddos who might still be too short for other coasters in other parks, but these coasters are often themed around characters that your kids are probably more familiar with, making what could be an intimidating first experience a whole lot less so. Disney also gives you a chance to take things one step further and experience a slightly eerier ride that's not going to be gory or gruesome or give you intense jump scares. Well, at least now that extraterrestrial alien encounter is gone. Haunted Mansion at Magic Kingdom and Tower of Terror at Hollywood Studios are good examples to use here. While these rides are filled with ghosts and frights and some more intense storylines that might send a chill up your spine, Disney never crosses the family-friendly line, giving you the chance to explore something a little more spooky without feeling like you're going to get jump scared every few steps, like you might experience at a haunted house or haunted corn maze attraction back home. Disney World might also be the perfect opportunity to trust yourself as an adult and pilot a pontoon boat for the first time. At several of Disney's hotel marinas, like the Contemporary Resort, Beach Club, and Grand Floridian, you can rent one of their pontoon boats for $50 per half hour. Then they'll just let you take it, and you get to drive it around. Sounds pretty intimidating, right? I mean, Disney charges you $50, and as long as you're over 18 and have a license to show, you can drive one of their $40,000 pontoons. Don't need to be nervous, though. This is the perfect chance to quite literally test the waters when it comes to driving a boat. Not only does Disney have cast members stationed in speedboats around the lagoon, ready to swoop in and help you if things go the slightest bit sideways, but the boats only go up to 5 miles an hour max speed, so you never have to worry about causing any serious maritime disasters. Even Disney's Typhoon Lagoon water park can help you learn to do something intimidating like surfing if you're willing to splurge for private access to their wave pool for some one-on-one lessons. If you're afraid of heights, this goes along the same line as the Disney coasters. Perhaps this is the perfect opportunity for you to fly on a tethered aerofoil balloon above Disney Springs, or dine in a rooftop restaurant at one of the resorts like California Grill at Contemporary or Toledo in Gran Destino Tower in Coronado Springs. Speaking of food, maybe the fears you'd like to conquer are less about rides and heights and more about expanding your palate. Sure, Disney has a lot of picky eater-friendly restaurants across property where you can stock up on chicken strips and pizza, but this is also your opportunity to try something a little bit more adventurous, like your first oyster at the Boathouse in Disney Springs, duck confit from Jico the Cooking Place in Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge, or maybe even escargot from Chefs de France in Epcot. Or if you wanted to try something new but you didn't want to commit to a whole table service where you could potentially be spending a lot of money on something you're not going to love, you can always plan your visit around one of the Epcot festivals, where you can hop between specialty food booths that serve all sorts of sample-sized food and drinks around the World Showcase, including escargot. Or maybe, just maybe, the fear you need to conquer is being alone. fun. Because a solo Disney World trip can be so freeing and cathartic in ways that you can't really describe until you take that leap and become your own best travel partner. Disney World is a place where you never have to do anything you don't want to do, but it's also a place where you can take a huge leap of faith and trust that Disney's going to catch you before you hit the ground. No matter what fears you decide you want to conquer during your upcoming Disney World vacation, there's one fear we can help you conquer right now, and that's the fear of disorganization. I know, arrest me for laying it on thick, but I'm not going to apologize for how handy our free Disney World planning worksheets are for people in the process of planning out all the details of their vacations, from packing to making reservations to prioritizing lightning lanes and more. So download these worksheets for yourself and your group. Go ahead and scan the QR code you see on the screen now, or head to disneyfoodblog.com/DisneyPlans after this. They are super useful. All right, let me ask you a question. Why do we take vacations? Sure, to take a break from work or school or life in general when life starts to feel a little bit too heavy. But also, we take vacations to do something fun with family and friends. And the everyday hustle and bustle tends to get in the way of memory making with the people that we love. We got homework and overtime keeping us in the office late, book deadlines that you got to zero in on because your book is coming out really soon, and it's okay to pick up Happy Meals for the family for the third time that week, I promise. Yeah, it's a thing. But vacation is a time for your group to come together and just reconnect, right? Pushing aside the noise of grades and breaking news broadcasts and the everyday 9 to 5. So here are a few ways you can reconnect at Disney World with the people that you love. You can book a nice quiet dinner someplace like Steakhouse 71 in the Contemporary Resort or Olivia's Cafe at Old Key West to chit-chat and catch up on life. You can have an evening back in your hotel room where you order food, put on a Disney movie, maybe play a card game or two on the bed. You can reserve a special class like Sangria University at Three Bridges Bar and Grill over at Coronado Springs, or cake decorating at Amorette's Patisserie in Disney Springs. That's a great parent and kid thing to do. So you can work together to create something amazing and tasty. You can surprise your loved ones with a behind the scenes park tour that they've wanted to do for years now, just to show you've been listening. Or find a spot in the hub grass of Magic Kingdom while everyone else is rushing to the exit after Happily Ever After fireworks, and enjoy a final snack and last minute views of Cinderella Castle. Disney World isn't necessarily about cramming in as much stuff as you can into a single visit, though that can be part of the fun. Rather, it's about making what you do meaningful with the people you're vacationing with, right? And if you're planning on taking your first ever solo vacation, like we talked about earlier, the same rules apply. At the risk of sounding cheesy, sometimes a vacation might be something more personal, and realizing that the person you desperately need to reconnect with is yourself. So for all you solo travelers out there, go ahead, use the single rider lines for rides like Rise of the Resistance and Hollywood Studios. Go back to the same restaurant 3 days in a row because you love it so much, which is what I do every single time when I go get the jambalaya over at Sasagula. Literally, if I already ate dinner even, I still go back there. And maybe even book your dream Disney hotel and then grab a bath bomb from the Basin store in Disney Springs or Grand Floridian for a relaxing night in reading a book and sipping on rosé while surrounded by bubbles. This especially works well if you book a Disney Vacation Club villa that has a 1-bedroom situation because you have those giant bathtubs, right? At Disney World, there are so many impactful ways you can connect with your friends and your family and even yourself during vacation, and you just have to set aside your worries about doing Disney the right way and instead hone in on doing Disney the most memorable way. I know, it sounds cheesy, but it's something that I really believe in, and I think it makes sense to say it in these videos so that maybe let yourself think about it that way too a little bit. Now, if Disney World cast members weren't the magic makers that they are, it wouldn't matter how cool the rides were, how tasty the restaurants could get, or how catchy the music can be. This place wouldn't be nearly as good as it is now. Not by a long shot. So our next tip is to have a fun interaction with cast members on every trip that you take. Cast members truly put the heart and soul into these parks, and we see this illustrated here at DFB firsthand every single day. Now, some folks might immediately put the words cast member and magical together and think what I'm trying to say is that magical moments handed over to us by cast members are what make those interactions with these folks worthwhile. And while magical moments, like hotel upgrades or free desserts or a surprise trip to the front of a ride line might feel amazing, they're not guaranteed and shouldn't automatically be expected. But even if you aren't the recipient of a, quote, magical moment, the cast member interactions that you can have with ride operators and servers and custodians and performers, you name it, are still so magical. They are magical moments in their own rights. And you can create those moments at any time during your trip just by being kind and playing along with the world building that these cast members aim to create daily. For example, if a cast member comes up and wants to show you a magic trick, let them, because they're bound to blow your mind and it'll be really fun. Some cast members are really good at character impressions. You might even wonder if they're really Donald Duck or Mickey Mouse in disguise. Disney's custodial team doesn't just help keep the parks clean, but they can make some really amazing water art of fan favorite characters. Now, if you're traveling around Epcot's World Showcase Pavilion, the cultural representatives can tell you fun facts regarding their home country. You might even learn a word or two in their native language. If a ride's broken down nearby, or even if it's just a slower park day than usual, sometimes cast members will create these clap boxes or applause boxes to applaud guests when they step inside them. Or they'll start hula hooping competitions for anyone who's up for the challenge. Sometimes cast members will come up with their own daily trivia questions to ask you. I ran into that a couple of times during previous visits. The last question I was asked by a cast member was, which Disney animated cat has 2 different owners? I'll give you some time to think about it and answer that at the end of the video. And let's not forget, cast members are on your team. So if you need help with anything, whether it be finding something that you lost or pointing you in the right direction when you can't find a certain attraction, or even giving you some advice for where you should stake out a spot for the upcoming fireworks show, don't be afraid to ask questions and flag them down. That being said, remember that cast members do have their limitations, and while some would love to help you find out what the dealio is with your glitchy lightning lane or popped Mickey balloon, if that's not in their area of expertise, they'll more than likely point you in the direction of a cast member that'll help you find a good solution. Guest services is usually a safe bet if there's something you're struggling with during your day. While guest services may not be able to solve all problems, they'll try to reach some sort of conclusion that'll help alleviate whatever situation you've come across that's threatening to rain on your parade. Whether a cast member gives you a magical moment, helps you solve a park problem, or even takes the time to shoot the breeze with you for a minute, don't forget to drop that CM a cast compliment to let them know how much their interaction meant to you. You can do this in a few different ways. You can either share a cast compliment with the hashtag #castcompliment on social media. You can swing by guest services in whichever park the cast member works at and drop their name and location to make sure they're recognized, or you can recognize a cast member through the My Disney Experience app. To do that, open the app and tap on the 3 bars in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Scroll until you see the cast compliment option, and then tap on that to be taken to the mobile cast compliment page, where you can give a compliment to a specific cast member by entering their first name, hometown or college, and date of your interaction. The more information you can provide about the cast member, the better Disney can identify them. Okay, now I'll give you the answer to that trivia question right now because I'm impatient. It's Figaro. Figaro is the cat who is owned by 2 Disney characters, Minnie Mouse and Geppetto. So earlier this year, we created a video about the top 50 Disney World bucket list items that you might want to add onto your own Disney bucket list. And while 50 is definitely quite a lot of options to choose from, your Disney bucket list might look very different from what we listed out. Maybe it's more specific or more niche or more of something only you and your family would truly understand, and others might kind of cock their head at you and wonder what on earth you're going on about. But hey, that's the beauty of a Disney trip and your own Disney trip. You get to make it entirely yours, and that means your goals, your hopes, your wishes, your dreams, your aspirations don't have to align with everybody else's. I mean, my personal Disney bucket list has been to go to every single restaurant, right? Which I've done several times over at this point. But that's something that people thought I was crazy wanting to do that. They're like, who cares? Just go ride the rides, right? But it's what I wanted to do. And so I focused on it. Now, it's totally okay if you don't have any Disney World bucket list items that you can come up with at the top of your head just yet. Some of you might just be like, listen, AJ, I'm just trying to stay above water with this whole Disney thing. I get it. So that's why we made that 50-point video to begin with, just to sort of inspire you to do a couple of fun things that maybe you didn't even expect to do. But just to help you get started, here are a few of our favorite bucket list items directly from that list that you might want to add to your own budding bucket list. And as a bonus, we'll put these items in different price categories for you too, ranging from free, aside from the trip or ticket itself, to affordable, to pricey, to downright bougie. So a few free bucket list items: get all 6 songs on Cosmic Rewind, visit every Disney World hotel, and become the Rebel Spy on Star Tours. Affordable bucket list items: purchase a customized souvenir, try an enchanted drink from Trader Sam's Grog Grotto, eat the best churros on property at Nomad Lounge. Pricey category: dine inside Cinderella Castle, finish a Run Disney race, build an authentic lightsaber from Savi's workshop. And the bougie category, eat the most expensive meal on property at Victoria and Albert's in the Grand Floridian Resort and Spa, do a land and sea trip where you start at Disney World and end with a Disney cruise, or stay in a club level room at one of the Disney Deluxe resorts. If there are any always do's that you think need to be added to this list, then let us know in the comments. But don't forget to keep working on your upcoming Disney World travel plans by checking out our other Disney planning videos, like the 50 new things coming to Disney World that you can't miss. And remember to pick up our free Disney World planning worksheets over at disneyfoodblog.com/disneyplans. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.